Everyone, this is Gabriel. He's an amazing man. And we met at Core Power doing yoga. And he was there for a lot of the way through my yoga teacher training. And now I decided to start doing this new series. Oh my God, we're really going to have to deal with this helicopter. So let's breathe and stay focused. But in any case, namaste. I really wanted to pull him aside and just kind of get his story. So let's just start there.
You know, like when my first exposure to it, I was like, I think I was really young. I don't know, maybe like early 20s, late teens. Mm-hmm. And my mom used to do like Bikram yoga.
Oh, wow.
So she was like into the Bikram scene.
Okay.
She used to go. And I remember like I went a couple times and I, just like sitting there like these people are like the heat. It was just like,
okay.
It was just something that was really interesting that I was like, these people are crazy. Like, how do they do this?
Yeah.
Like sitting halfway through class thinking like, what are these people doing?
Why are they putting themselves through
like,
torture?
What are they doing? I mean, like, I just would sit there halfway, just like looking at these people like why? This is just crazy. But then there was something like getting through that. It was almost like this torture. You know what I mean? Like it was something like getting through that process of like, I don't know,
finding your edge.
I guess it was like fine, and like coming out of the room, like you were sweating and it was just hot, and like you were reborn. You know what I mean? It was like this process of like, what do they call that? Tapas, and like later on you learn that in like the yoga philosophy, like that purification, but also leaning into that discomfort, growing through that process of like making it really uncomfortable and challenged.
Yeah.
And then coming out. I remember those, and then it was like later on, I kind of discovered yoga through, I went to treatment. And in treatment they had like, you would sign up, they're like, little events that they had, like group therapy and stuff like that. So one of the events that they had was Kundalini yoga. And so I signed up and we'd all like do this breath work and this movement,
Okay.
And it was part of it was just a way to like, okay, you're like sitting in treatment, you're like doing group and you're doing therapy and you're talking about your feelings and emotions all day long.
Right.
So it's like, what could I do? Like something else besides like drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes and talking about your feelings. So
for those of you that don't know what treatment is, it's for drugs and alcohol.
For drugs and alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like in treatment for drugs and alcohol. But then I started to like, I was really getting into like the breathing, the breath work, the movement, the postures, and it became this like outlet that I was like, wow, this is really. And then one day the instructors who would come would just kind of take me to the side and like, oh, you had a really strong practice, you're really into this. Like people were just kind of complimenting me like you're really into this.
Oh,
like,
cool.
There was something about it that I don't know, I found my little niche. What I mean?
I could imagine being in treatment too. You're in this new environment. You're getting sober, so you're probably having a little bit of withdrawals from your normal patterns, and so now you get to focus all your energy on this new thing, and so that's probably what they were seeing. Wow, this guy's really going after it.
Exactly, like it was like I was replacing something, like. And so I was finding whatever it was through this breath work, through this movement, this release.
Okay.
I remember them talking about like the coil, the serpents.
Kundalini. Okay.
I mean, it was new to me, but I just remember some of the like what she would talk about, like releasing this energy through your spine. I mean,
what is this witchcraft?
Yeah. It was just like the movement and the breath work, and like it was kind of some crazy stuff.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like we do that, and that was like. When really I started to, it was kind of like in treatment, like I was like, what can I do again besides talking about my feelings, drink coffee all day?
Yeah.
So that was like my outlet, and then when I left treatment, like I had a rehab romance.
Oh, what?
A rehab romance.
Rehab romance.
Yeah. So they kicked this person out, right? And so like I left treatment because I was like, I'm gonna follow this person.
Oh, got it.
I was almost completed with treatment, but they kicked this person out, so I ended up falling, and like we couch surfed, and we were just like, we stood with this person's friend, and and I was like couch surfing, and then his friend, or she was like knew about core power yoga.
Oh, okay.
And so they had like the 2-week free trial. She's like, you should try this place out. I was like, oh, I remember doing yoga in treatment. So I signed up for the 2 weeks, and I was like hooked.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was like, do I go to a meeting? Do I go to yoga? And then I started, like build my. It was like the yoga was replacing a lot of the things that I had, So I was really like, I was homeless, I was like couch surfing, finding this place to like shower, practice yoga, build a community, like find a new habit. I remember just really getting into this practice and like going to the studio, and then I was doing the yoga for trade program, and then like applying for a scholarship to go into teacher training because I was like practicing so much, People were like always complimenting my practice and just like, oh, you're really, I see you all the time here, you seem to really like it. And that kind of got me into understanding either going into teacher training, getting the scholarship, going into teacher training and like doing my 200-hour certification. But it like opened me up to the whole world of like what this yoga was, like what are we doing? What does this all mean? Like the Sanskrit, the Eastern philosophy.
Let me ask you this: with now in your day-to-day life and being established in your practice, with regards to your sobriety, because I know for myself, like it's not always easy. Like when I can catch myself. And I catch myself because of my practice, because, specifically because of meditation, I've just become more mindful. So I just have noticed, like sometimes after watching certain things on TV, or if I hang out with certain people, some of my old patterns will come up. And like, if I'm hanging out with a bunch of people that are getting high or whatever, and that's not something I normally do, but sometimes you find yourself in those situations. And then I start to feel or watch myself get a little bit nostalgic sometimes about going out clubbing, staying up all night partying, and that whole deal. So I guess my question for you is what has yoga helped you do? What has your practice helped you to stay sober and stay centered and to stay strong in, where your practice has brought you?
What yoga has taught me is to breathe deep and move slow, like to experience each moment, when I teach class, I'm like, breathe into the posture. You always hear that. Like, what does that mean? It's like experience the posture. It's like just slow down and sit with it. And I think like just understanding like the power of your breath. And it's like when I'm moving throughout the day, like on my shoulders, you know what I mean? Like, am I like this, or am I like, it's like that kind of stuff is like when I'm able to pause and just become a little more aware of where I'm at and where my body, like body awareness, just the position of my body in space, like that kind of stuff, like slows me down. It's like when I start to think about it, that frantic state of like going towards something, like needing that, what I mean? Like I need to find that, that I think that's when I'm like, oh, step, pause, like where are you going? Like, what are you doing? So it's like that kind of like, oh, just like chill out, slow down, take a deep breath. Like, what is it? Like, ask yourself where you're at. You know what I mean?
That's perfect. Yeah. That, that is so on point, because I've been something, I just got this word in my head, which is entertain, and it brought a lot of things home for me with regard to staying sober for myself and just anything that I'm working on. And to hear you say your yoga practice, if your old patterns start to come up, it's taught you to be in your body, be aware of your breath and feel where you're at. And for me, I just have been playing around with this word entertain, because like, if these old patterns come up for me, I see them because of my practice. I see it come up because most people don't see it. They just end up out, and then it's 3 days later, and then they're dehydrated, waking up in the morning, they relapse. But I see it come up, and then I have a moment where I can either entertain the nostalgia, I can entertain the fantasizing, or what would it be like? I can entertain it, or I can't not entertain it. It is entertainment to go in your head and start thinking about what all the good things, all the fun times you had with this crowd of people that you know is not good for you. It's like watching an old movie. It's literally playing back an old movie.
There's times I've really I'm noticing more and more. And it's like, despite the years that I've, it's like you're never done.
Oh,
you know
no.
what I mean? It's like, and you just become more aware, and it's like I have to watch certain things I do, certain songs, certain people. You know,
Totally.
What I mean? Like, you become aware. You're like, oh, that's just like that subtle like shift.
Yeah.
By just that exposure, it's like, but I think a lot of that is like being a little more, having that awareness of body and breath. You know what I mean? Like again, your physical state. Like
100%.
Where are you now? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Pretend somebody out there is watching this video, and maybe just give them a little bit of inspiration or motivation, and maybe a little push towards a yoga studio.
I don't know how many times I tried to get clean and sober, and then I finally did it. And just know that like it doesn't happen the first time. Most of the times it doesn't happen the first time, but it's like once that seed is planted, and it's like, okay, and it's something you want, it requires that, again, like giving up everything you knew before, one foot in front of the other. It takes those little steps of like setting those small goals. Today I'm gonna, today I'm gonna do this. And it's like coming back to the breath, like just right now, breathe and get to this next posture. Like breathe and take this next step, and then it follows. And then do the next thing, and then the next thing, and you set bigger goals, and the next thing you know, you're like looking back at the person you were, not even almost recognizing, tuning into that rhythm of life to like understand there's a purpose for you to be here.
That's it. For anyone out there who has never tried yoga before, and especially if you're trying to get sober, one of the key things that's worked for me in the past is surrounding myself with good people. So if you find yourself in a yoga studio, and there's yoga studios wherever you're at, and there are always going to be studios that offer free classes, free weeks, free 2 weeks. I know I started with Core Power with a free 2 week, and then I signed up. But find an environment that's going to have supportive people that are doing healthy things. And then you have, back to that, it works if you work it. You have more things that you can fill up your day with that are positive. You got good people around you that are lifting you up instead of, other people looking for something from you, pulling you down. I think yoga has been so key for me to stay sober. And then when you get deeper past the asana and the exercise, you start getting into meditation. Start learning how to feed your body good food, drinking more water.
Body awareness. Yeah, I mean, like you said, like finding your community, I think that's the biggest thing, in like as a human being, like the human experience is really like, we're looking at, my thesis, one of the things I'm looking at is like this predictor of academic success, but it really applies to anything. It's like this sense of belonging, this sense of community. When a person feels like they belong, the more likely to persevere in whatever they're doing, whether it's the workplace or a relationship and their family. Like when they feel that sense of belonging, which is part of that connection, that community, when you feel you're a part of something, like, again, like, and that's absolutely right. See, it's like me articulating, trying to understand, like, when you're inside of something, you can't really describe it, but like, yeah, exactly. It's like, find your community, find your people, and that's going to set you in the direction whatever that is for you, wherever you're trying to head. But I think that is so important to feel rooted, grounded, connected, and to feel part of something. That is a huge thing for anybody. But especially I feel like people who are in recovery, I think there's that sense of disconnection, or not the inability to connect with other people or feel like you belong or you're a part of something. Yeah.
This is Gabriel, amazing yoga teacher, beautiful brother, sober man, out here doing good things, about to get his master's degree, and the world is full of amazing, beautiful people. And if you're out there struggling with any kind of sobriety things or imbalances in your life, definitely check out a yoga studio near you, and surround yourself with good people. And that's it. And if you need someone to talk to, hit me up in the comments or DM or whatever, and let's all support each other. Thank you, Gabriel. Really appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Right on.
Yeah.